In 2021, the vast, wild heart of Yosemite National Park swallowed a manhole. His name was Alex Miller. He wasn't a novice, not some tourist who wandered off the path. Alex was an experienced hiker, someone who respected the mountains and knew their dangers. He walked into that majestic wilderness, and then nothing. He simply vanished. The days that followed his disappearance turned into a frantic, desperate search. Search and rescue teams, some of the best in the world, combed the park. They scoured the trails he was known to frequent. Helicopters buzzed over the granite domes and deep valleys, and volunteers walked miles, their voices calling his name, echoing into the empty air. They looked for any sign, a dropped water bottle, a piece of clothing, a footprint, but they found nothing, not a single clue. It was as if the forest had opened up and taken him, leaving no trace behind. For his family, the silence was the worst part, the not knowing. Weeks turned into months, and months bled into 4 long, agonizing years. They were trapped in a state of limbo, a painful purgatory between hope and grief. Every phone call, every news report about a discovery in the park sent a jolt of anxiety through them. What terrible fate had befallen Alex? Did he slip? Was he attacked by an animal? Did he just want to disappear? The questions haunted their every waking moment and invaded their dreams. The park, once a place of beauty and adventure for Alex, became a symbol of their unending sorrow. Then, 4 years later, a breakthrough. It didn't come from an official search, but from a pair of climbers high up in a remote and unforgiving part of the park. They were scaling a sheer granite face, a place far from any designated trail, a place where most people would never dream of going. And there, on a nearly inaccessible ledge, more than 11,000 feet high, they found him. It was a place no one would have looked. The search teams had focused on logical areas, on trails and their surroundings. But Alex was far beyond that. The climbers who found his remains were stunned. It was a place of stark, brutal beauty, but also one of extreme isolation. Getting to him was a perilous task, requiring expert skill and a lot of courage. It immediately raised the question, how did he get here? The recovery operation was complex, but finally, they were able to bring Alex Miller home. The autopsy began to piece together the final tragic chapter of his life. The evidence showed that he had survived a significant fall. He was injured badly, broken bones, perhaps internal injuries. He was alive, but he was alone, trapped on that high, lonely ledge with no way down and no way to call for help. The vastness of Yosemite, a place he loved, had become his prison. You can imagine the scene. The sharp, cold wind whipping across the granite. The endless sea of peaks and valleys stretching out before him. Sun setting, plunging the world into a deep, star-filled darkness. He would have known his situation was dire. As an experienced hiker, he would have understood the grim reality. It was too high, too injured, and too far from anyone who could possibly find him in time. But it's the next detail, the most heartbreaking discovery of all, that truly tells the story of his final moments. Found on his chest, protected from the elements, was his map. It was a standard topographical map of the park, something every serious hiker carries, but this one was different. On it, drawn with what must have been his last ounce of strength, was a small, deliberate red circle. He knew he wasn't going to make it. He knew the search parties would likely never find him on this remote, impossible ledge. And in a final act of will, a final message to the world and to his family, he marked his own grave. He pinpointed his exact location on the map, a final beacon for those who would eventually come looking. This wasn't an act of surrender. It was an act of profound consideration, perhaps even of love. In his darkest, most painful hours, stranded and facing his own mortality, his thoughts were not just of himself, but of his family. He wanted to give them closure. He wanted to spare them the lifetime of wondering, of not knowing. He was trying to tell them, I am here. You can stop searching. Think about the mental fortitude that must have taken. To be in excruciating pain, to know your life is ending, and yet to have the clarity and compassion to perform such a selfless act. He wasn't just a victim of the wilderness. In his final moments, he was a guide. He was leaving a breadcrumb, not to save himself, but to save his loved ones from a future of uncertainty. The red circle on that map is more than just a location. It's a testament to the human spirit's resilience in the face of the inevitable. It speaks volumes about who Alex Miller was, a man who, even at the very end, thought of others. It's a story that's both devastating and incredibly moving. It transforms a tragedy of a hiker lost in the mountains into a powerful narrative of human dignity and foresight. For 4 years, his family had a hole in their lives, a question mark where a son, a brother, a friend used to be. The discovery on that ledge, while confirming their worst fears, also brought an answer. It brought him home, and the map. The map brought them his last message. A message of where to find him, yes, but also a silent testament to his character, right up to the very end. This story serves as a somber reminder of the raw power of nature. Even for the most experienced, the mountains can be unforgiving. But it's also a powerful story about the strength of the human spirit. Alex Miller's final act was not one of desperation, but of incredible grace. He marked his own grave so that his family could one day find peace. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more content that explores the depths of human experience. Stay safe out there.